Hello aqua friends, welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would do another bokeh pine tree inspired holiday painting, and this time instead of using stickers I am going to be just using drops of masking fluid just to show you guys there are options instead of the stickers. This works pretty good as well. So I'm starting off by wetting my paper. Wet on wet, we're going to do a very fuzzy background. I am using a warm yellow and some sap green, and I'm just drawing in my pine tree needles. And because everything is really wet, it just goes on very softly. Everything is fuzzy and out of focus. So as your paper is drying, here's a very important tip for you. You want to make sure that you're using thicker paint, because if you have more water in your brush than you do on your paper, you will make a bloom. So to prevent that, just make sure you wipe off your brush on a piece of paper towel, or you're using a very thick consistency paint. So I'm just adding more layers to the pine needles, and as my paper's drying, things aren't spreading as much, and so I'm getting more defined pine needles. Now you're going to have to let your paper dry completely, and now I'm putting in those Christmas lights. So these soft yellow lights, they're in the background, and I have a dotting tool that I'm using for that, and I'm just dipping it into the masking fluid. Now to get some of the larger circles, I actually used the back of a pencil, and I used the eraser because I thought it was like the perfect size. So if you don't have a dotting tool, look around the house. I'm sure you will find all sorts of things that you could use as a dotting tool. Even the back of your paintbrush will work. And I'm varying my pressure with my dotting tool to make some of the dots a little bit bigger. You do want to make sure that you get some of these dots in the pine needles into the green parts of your painting as well. This is very beginner friendly, very easy to do. You're going to let that masking fluid dry completely, and then you're going to put a dark layer on. I'm using a mixture of neutral tint and indigo. So then I'm also pulling up some areas to have some light coming through on the bottom part. So while I'm letting that dry, I'm going back in to add some of the branches and a few extra pine needles where I think that I needed a little bit more contrast. So I'm squinting at the reference photo, and I'm seeing where I need to add more darker areas in the pine needles. So I'm sort of switching between using a flat brush, a script liner brush for the pine needles, and a calligraphy brush. I like the soft bristles, and it holds a lot of water, and they're extremely cheap. all the details that I'm adding with my script liner brush is showing up very nicely. So you have some soft edges and you have some hard edges. So you have a lot of interesting things going on. Once your paper completely dries, then you can take your masking fluid pickup and take off the masking fluid. Now you can see what's left behind are all these fun lights. It's kind of like a really cool effect. And the tiny little twinkles that are in the pine trees, I'm using opaque watercolor white. This is Dr. Martin's watercolor white. I really like how it goes on very thickly, and it definitely does a good job. So using my dotting tool, I am just putting in some extra dots of very, very fine twinkles that I see in the branches with the watercolor white. These tiny little touches do add some finishing charm to the painting. I really enjoyed doing this. It was super easy, guys, and it would make a fantastic little card or piece of artwork to give to somebody over the holidays. If you guys like my artwork, make sure that you hit that notification button so you don't miss any videos. Subscribe and smash that like button for me. That would really help me out. So voila, that is it for this cute little project. I will see you guys next week.